And Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, the first sitting Chief Minister to be arrested, has just begun a 2-week stretch in judicial custody at India's largest prison, Delhi's Tihar jail. Sources tell India Today that Kejriwal will be lodged in jail number 2. He's already been taken inside. Those formalities and paperwork are being conducted at present, and he is likely to be lodged in jail number 2. Just to give you a sense of some of the details of the things that Kejriwal has asked for, as someone in Tihar jail, he's asked for a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. He will be in judicial custody until April the 15th. So that's 14-day or 2-week judicial custody until the 15th of April. I want to go across to our reporters. Pooja Shali is live with us from Tihar jail. Shreya Chatterjee is also live with us. She'll be giving us a sense of the investigation. Pooja, quickly coming to you first. We saw Arvind Kejriwal in that vehicle, being brought into Tihar jail just a short while ago. Jail number 2, Pooja, is where he is likely to be lodged. He has apparently asked for a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, but very little information at present over what happens next. Many unanswered questions. What are you hearing, Pooja?
Shiv, very interesting choice of books for Arvind Kejriwal. And clearly, it's not that he has time for reading or he wants to catch up on that, but it's a political messaging. A Mahabharata, a Bhagavad Gita to show basically the fight for Dharma. It is Ramayana also as request to show the righteousness of Lord Ram. And then a book, we are told, apparently, which says what Prime Minister decides. So it's a very clear messaging there. But jail number 2, Arvind Kejriwal is now a prisoner officially of the high security Tihar prison. He tried his best to avoid it. When he arrived here, Shiv, just about a short while ago, I saw suddenly there was this show of strength that the Aam Aadmi Party workers, supporters, that they came, they started to shout. They wanted, at least to some extent possibly, for their Neta to hear that they are here. But the fact is, even though he tried to avoid on now serious money laundering charges, he's inside prison. But what an up and down for Arvind Kejriwal, a man who became an activist, then a politician, then a chief minister on anti-corruption plank, is today behind bars on corruption charges. Aam Aadmi Party, of course, maintains this is political vendetta, witch hunting, no evidence. But the ED maintains there's a solid chain trail. They have found that the money was laundered toward Goa campaign. Over to you.
And we'll be bringing in India Today's Munish Pandey in just a short while to detail some of those aspects of the charges against Arvind Kejriwal, because remember, ultimately it is a battle of narratives also that is playing out other than the investigation itself. Shreya will be filling us in on that. Pooja and Shreya, continue to be with me. Let me just get our viewers up to speed on what we know so far in what has been a very dramatic day. Arvind Kejriwal is in Tihar jail now. A Delhi court has granted 14-day judicial custody. That's till the 15th of April to Kejriwal. His confinement leaves the Aam Aadmi Party reeling and facing an uphill battle to salvage its political fortunes, not to speak of just the structural daily administration of the Delhi government itself. And remember, today is April the 1st, which means only 18 days to go for elections to begin. Take a look at today's report.
Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is jailed. A Delhi court on Monday sent him to 14-day judicial custody in the liquor policy case. The Enforcement Directorate produced Kejriwal in the Rouse Avenue court, presided by Special Judge Kaveri Baveja, after his custody ended. Kejriwal was sent to Tihar jail after the ED sought judicial remand. In its application to court, the ED alleged that Kejriwal had provided false and contradictory evidence during their inquiry. ED claimed Kejriwal had evaded questions and had refused to disclose passwords to his digital devices. Furthermore, he allegedly labelled his own party leaders as confused. Kejriwal claimed that accused Vijay Nair reported to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj and asserted that his interaction with Nair was limited.
He's taken your name in case of the first time.
Delhi Minister Atishi evaded questions on Kejriwal's claims.
According to them, Mr. Kejriwal has made a statement.
Ahead of his court appearance, Kejriwal had criticized the Prime Minister's actions.
अरविंद जी, पूरा इंडिया गठबंधन कल आपके लिए जुटा मामले में था, क्या कहेंगे?
मंत्री जी जो ये कर रहे हैं ये देश के लिए अच्छा नहीं है.
Sunita Kejriwal, the Chief Minister's wife, accused the BJP government of seeking to incarcerate the AAP chief during elections.
11 दिन उनकी पूछताछ हुई है, पूछताछ पूरी हो गई है। अदालत ने दोषी नहीं कहा, उनको जेल में क्यों डाला है? लोगों का एक ही मकसद है, इनको चुनावों में उनको जेल में डालना है। देश की जनता इस तानाशाही का जवाब देगी।
The BJP rejected the AAP charge, accusing Kejriwal of playing victim card.
Those who try to portray the bogey of victimhood, I would like to underline that today's judgment of the court is based on the concrete evidences. Now it raises certain moral and constitutional questions.
This is the dictatorship of Mr. Modi. 2,715 crores BJP extorted from industrialists using ED. Extortion directorate it has become. 60 crores from Sarath Chandra Reddy BJP got. That prime accused of the Sarab Ghatala. Approver. Only statement of Sarath Chandra Reddy, they arrested Kejriwal, the sitting chief minister. India is watching. The world is watching.
Meanwhile, Kejriwal has made specific requests for his stay in Tihar jail. He has sought permission to take many books, including the Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana and Mahabharata. He also wants access to necessary medicines and a special diet. Kejriwal has requested a table and a chair to facilitate his work and personal activities. Several Aam Aadmi Party leaders, including Sanjay Singh, Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, are already in Tihar in separate cells. With Kejriwal also sent to jail, AAP is facing an uphill battle to salvage its political fortunes in 2024 elections. With Munish Pandey, Shreya Chatterjee and Shrishti Ojha in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now remember, there are two aspects of what we're covering, and we're going to get you a 360-degree view of this unfolding story, because this is for the first time in all time that a sitting chief minister has been arrested, and now he's in judicial custody inside Tihar jail, which is India's largest jail. Pooja and Shreya are outside Tihar jail to get us every aspect of what's happening there. Shrishti Ojha was at the Rouse Avenue court that granted this judicial custody just a short while ago. She'll be giving us a legal perspective. Munish is tracking the investigation itself. And remember, that holds in many ways the key to how this entire case will actually unfold. Remember that both Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh have been inside jail for a long time now. And therefore, there are apprehensions within the Aam Aadmi Party that Arvind Kejriwal could be in jail for a much longer time than just the 2 weeks that have been granted by the Rouse Avenue court. Before I go to my reporters, the big questions that are being asked right now, and I'm going to try and get some of these questions answered by reporters. Number one, how long will Kejriwal be behind bars? That's probably the chief question on everyone's mind at this point of time. Number two, can Kejriwal run the government from inside Tihar jail? There is suspense over that. Will Kejriwal be allowed any special requests in jail beyond just routine stuff like asking for a Bhagavad Gita, etc.? Will Kejriwal be allowed visits or regular visits from his family, ministers, officials, facilitating administration of the Delhi government? And finally, will the Delhi Lieutenant Governor, with whom Kejriwal has a pretty acrimonious relationship, will he recommend President's rule in Delhi as a result of a sitting Chief Minister being sent to judicial custody? Shreya Chatterjee is also with us. She's been tracking not just the developments today, but the case at large. Shreya, give us a sense of this judicial custody. What happens with Arvind Kejriwal over the next 2 weeks vis-a-vis the Enforcement Directorate and the investigation at large?
Well, Shiv, first we need to understand that why did the Enforcement Directorate seek a judicial custody for Arvind Kejriwal today?
Yeah.
The Enforcement Directorate still very much had 4 days remaining of the initial custody period. They have suggested that depending on an SC judgment that is given in the past, they can very well take the custody of Arvind Kejriwal at their liberty. So right now the investigation is at a stage that the Enforcement Directorate needs to investigate some digital evidence, some data that Arvind
Arvind Kejriwal refused to give login credentials of. Once all these investigation is done, we will in all likelihood see Enforcement Directorate again go back to court seeking the custody of Arvind Kejriwal. Now the second agency that in all likelihood will also be coming into the picture is the Central Bureau of Investigation. It was in fact the CBI which was the first to lodge an FIR in the liquor policy case in the August of 2022. That is the reason that it is very early to say that he will be staying 2 weeks in Tihar. It is in all probability that we might just see the CBI moving into the picture, arresting Arvind Kejriwal and then seeking remand. So these are the things that will happen very fast-paced right now. As of now, he's been sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April.
Okay, I want to get a quick word in before I go to Preeti and talk about the Aam Aadmi Party's strategy, which is going to be very, very important politically, and that too this close to the elections. I want to bring in Srishti as well. She was at the Rouse Avenue court. She's our legal correspondent. Srishti, in terms of legal recourse, is there anything that the Aam Aadmi Party or Arvind Kejriwal can do about this 2-week remand, judicial remand that has been granted? Srishti, can you hear me? Okay, how unfortunate. Okay, I'll go back to Srishti in just a moment. Here's what the Aam Aadmi Party is planning to do as far as its strategy is concerned. Now remember, it's been clear for a while now that the Aam Aadmi Party has already expected an arrest to take place. So it's not like they've been caught off guard. But his confinement leaves the party reeling with many unanswered questions and facing something of an uphill battle to salvage its political next step. The party is gearing up to navigate through this crisis with some strategic decisions. They may challenge the Prime Minister on what they term as dictatorial governance, while being steadfast on maintaining their stance on running the government from jail. They don't want to change that stand. The Aam Aadmi Party can take legal recourse if the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi recommends President's rule in Delhi, building a narrative around the majority government being brought down in the capital. Now, leveraging emotional appeal, the Aam Aadmi Party may utilize Arvind Kejriwal's wife, Sunita Kejriwal, as a key figure, which they already have been. She's been front and center, the most prominent face now of the Aam Aadmi Party since her husband's arrest. With top leaders locked up in Tihar, Bhagwant Mann will likely take on a national campaigner's role, while people like Sandeep Pathak will work as behind-the-scenes strategists. Meanwhile, Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj, both MLAs in the Delhi government and the ministers in the Delhi government, are expected to take charge of running the Delhi Sarkar, with people like Gopal Rai managing the MLA's concerns. So all those decisions have already been taken, keeping in mind expectations that this arrest could be a protracted affair. Preeti is with us live to break us, to take us through how the Aam Aadmi Party plans to navigate this crisis. And those points which I've just read out are in fact what Preeti has been giving us. Preeti, what are you hearing from within the Aam Aadmi Party? Arvind Kejriwal, for at least the next 2 weeks, is in. From the looks of things, if we go by precedent with other leaders who've been similarly incarcerated, they've been in for a much, much longer time. What is the Aam Aadmi Party expecting?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party is expecting, Shiv, that Arvind Kejriwal is in for a long time, and they're going to work on that strategy. But, there's something, and, I'll tell you why. The Aam Aadmi Party has always been called the disruptor for a reason, because they constantly, whether it works for them, whether it doesn't work for them, they are all right to take that risk. And we've seen that earlier. If you remember, in 2014, Arvind Kejriwal stepped down as Chief Minister after just 49 days of being in the saddle, and then coming back to sweep elections in 2015 with massive sympathy. So that aside, at this point of time, and I'll give you, and we can draw comparisons with, say, on Hemant Soren, who decided to step down, and Champai Soren stepped in as the makeshift stand-in Chief Minister where Jharkhand was concerned. Aam Aadmi Party is steadfast on the fact that they will not let Arvind Kejriwal step down. So it's the Aam Aadmi Party who is going to look at escalating the standoff. The ball now proverbially, and for all other practical reasons, in the court of the Lieutenant Governor. Now, the Lieutenant Governor over the last 2 weeks has been posturing, making all the sounds and noises concerning that he's not happy of a government being run where Delhi is concerned from the confines of the Tihar jail. Now, will he bite the bullet and push for president's rule, the Aam Aadmi Party would be looking at exactly that, because they are not going to get in a makeshift chief minister. They are not changing the chief minister, and they are looking to escalate the situation. Everything is very practiced, Shiv. It's all political. If in the morning you had an Arvind Kejriwal who came out and said, जो प्रधानमंत्री कर रहे हैं वो गलत कर रहे हैं, it's very practiced. It was followed up by Sunita Kejriwal speaking to the press and saying ये एक dictatorial सरकार है, तानाशाही सरकार है. So it's all coming together. They are going to bolster the attack, and this time around, keeping in mind with the India alliance, which is strange, many would say foolhardy, but they've decided to take the fight to the doorstep of the Prime Minister. You'll see a lot of, comments, a lot of political commentary coming in where the Prime Minister will be named directly. Will it work for them is a different story. But they are looking to push the envelope. They're not backing down. They're looking to escalate.
Okay, they're going to definitely escalate. The Prime Minister is going to be directly attacked, as he has been right through that big rally yesterday at the Ramleela Maidan as well. Preeti, thanks very much for that. I want to get into the actual nuts and bolts of the investigation itself, because remember, the Aam Aadmi Party has persistently claimed that there is nothing in this investigation and that it is purely fueled by vendetta. Here's a very interesting thing that we're hearing from our sources and our reporters about what happens next. Is there heat on second-rung leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party, Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj, both MLAs and both ministers in the Delhi government? India Today's reporters tell us that Kejriwal has called his own party leaders confused while being questioned, and Kejriwal has said that co-accused Vijay Nair did not report to him as the Delhi Chief Minister, but to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj. Now remember, these are claims by the investigating agency. They say that Kejriwal has claimed interaction with accused Vijay Nair has always been very limited. He says accused Vijay Nair acted as a middleman with the South Group. That last bit is what the Enforcement Directorate is claiming, not Arvind Kejriwal. These are claims from within the Enforcement Directorate. I want to bring in India Today's Munish Pandey in on that. He's been breaking all the big developments as far as this case is concerned, consistently and without exception. Munish, am I wrong in reading this as Arvind Kejriwal attempting to distance himself from that Vijay Nair link in some way? And could this increase the heat on Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj, Munish?
Well, Shiv, as far as Vijay Nair and Arvind Kejriwal is concerned, to give some perspective, let me tell you that almost a year back, the Enforcement Directorate filed a charge sheet in this case, claiming that Arvind Kejriwal did speak to one of the accused called Samir Mahendru. And in that telephonic conversation, Arvind Kejriwal said that Vijay Nair is my boy, you can trust him. From last 1 year, there was no counter from the Aam Aadmi Party or, for that matter, Arvind Kejriwal, because there were several media interactions, there were several press conferences, but there was no counter on the allegations made by the Enforcement Directorate as far as Vijay Nair is concerned. But, when the case was being heard today, before the court, the Enforcement Directorate told the court that when he was asked, when Arvind Kejriwal asked about his association with Vijay Nair, Arvind Kejriwal replied saying that Vijay Nair is someone who was reporting to Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj and not to me. And now when you are saying this, there is a high possibility that in future, Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj might be called for questioning also. So there's a high possibility that the investigation now is moving in a direction where the second-rung leaders of Aam Aadmi Party may be called in for questioning. They will be asked about their association with Vijay Nair, and high possibility about Atishi also, because she was also handling the Goa elections.
Okay, so this is clearly an escalation mode from both sides. The Aam Aadmi Party also planning to politically escalate, but there is a possibility now that in the investigation, Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj, both Delhi MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party and ministers, could also be summoned for questioning. I'm going to go to Srishti Oja in just a moment, but before that, I wanted to play out a soundbite because the BJP claims Arvind Kejriwal has thrown Atishi and Saurabh under the bus, or at least sort of distanced himself from that direct link so that one of them doesn't become the Chief Minister of Delhi after Kejriwal is jailed. I want to be very, very specific and clear that these are claims that are being made by the investigating agencies. This is not first-hand. Listen in.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी राजनीति में किसी को सामने नहीं आने देते। अब वो आतिशी जी को और सौरभ भारद्वाज को फंसाने जा रहे हैं, क्योंकि वो जानते हैं अगर वो बाहर रहेंगे वो मुख्यमंत्री बन जाएंगे, अरविंद केजरीवाल जेल में रह जाएंगे। इसलिए ये अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने जो आज सनसनीखेज खुलासा किया है, एक बात स्पष्ट हो गई है कि शराब में घोटाला हुआ। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने मना नहीं किया, उन्होंने ये कहा कि पैसे का लेन देन आतिशी और सौरभ भारद्वाज को पता है, मुझे नहीं पता इन्होंने कितने पैसे लिए, कैसे लिए और कहां खर्च किए। सो एक बात स्पष्ट हो गया है, घोटाला शराब का हुआ था।
I'm going to come back to the Saurabh Bharadwaj Atishi angle in just a moment, but I want to bring in India Today's legal correspondent, Srishti Ojha, who was at the Rouse Avenue court, the court that has granted this judicial remand. Srishti, over the next 2 weeks till April the 15th, are there any other legal remedies that the Aam Aadmi Party can exercise, or are they thinking of what they can do in case the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi recommends President's rule? What are the legal options?
Well, Shiv, as far as Arvind Kejriwal's judicial custody is concerned, usually when the probe agencies choose to seek judicial custody over police custody, it's usually seen as some sort of a relief, at least because you're not under the custody of the investigating agency itself. You're at least under the custody of the magistrate. But in this particular case, why it might not be as big a relief for Arvind Kejriwal is because the ED has clearly stated in front of court that they will be seeking further police custody. ED has clarified that even though they're not seeking even though they've only sought judicial custody for Arvind Kejriwal today, does not mean that they would not ask for him to be in their custody in the future. Depending on how the investigation proceeds, there is a possibility. In fact, they also tried to defend why and justify why ED might need his custody in the future. According to ED, Arvind Kejriwal has been totally non-cooperative. He has in fact tried to deliberately mislead the investigation, according to ED. He's tried to deflect his answers. He's not shared passwords of the digital devices which are important for the ED to get the evidence that they need, evidence related to the case. So according to them, considering he's not cooperated, ED will eventually need police custody. But as of now, since Arvind Kejriwal has been sent to judicial custody, there is a scope of relief in a way where he can seek bail. But we're talking about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act here. Even the other two Aam Aadmi Party leaders, Manish Sisodia, who was arrested in Feb last year, and Sanjay Singh, who was arrested in October last year, both of them have not been able to get bail from any of the courts, right from lower court till the Supreme Court. Manish Sisodia's bail was rejected. He's again applied for bail before Delhi's trial court. So getting bail in this matter, considering it's a money laundering case, will be very difficult, but it's definitely one of the options that is available for Arvind Kejriwal now, which is also something that is likely to happen. He can apply for bail and seek bail. As of now, he's been sent to 14 days judicial custody, and all the applications that he filed seeking the books that he needs or the home cooked food, all his applications and requests have been allowed by the court as of now. Back to you.
Okay, so judicial custody till April the 15th, that's 2 weeks, 14 days. The possibility of, applying for bail exists, but, given that the other incarcerated persons from the Delhi government haven't got bail in many, many months now, it doesn't augur well. We, of course, will not second guess what, what legal paths that application may actually take, but it doesn't look good as far as precedent is concerned. Srishti, thank you very much for that. I'll come back to you in a short while with a couple of more queries that we have about how this is going to play out legally as well. Now, Srishti was just mentioning about the many requests that Arvind Kejriwal has made, which have been allowed to him inside Tihar jail. Let's just tell you about some of those things. He's asked for a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and a book called How Prime Ministers Decide by senior journalist Neerja Chaudhary. It's a book about various prime ministers' tenures and key decisions that they took. Number two, he's asked for his medicines because remember, Arvind Kejriwal does suffer from some health ailments and therefore he needs his daily medicines. He's also requested a special diet and he has asked for a table and chair in his jail cell. All of this has apparently been allowed to the Delhi Chief Minister. Pooja, I'd like to bring you in on this. Arvind Kejriwal asking for the, for the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, etc. All of that is, of course, a great deal of political messaging. I don't want to take away from the fact that, he may be interested in this stuff. So there's no question of that. But he's been allowed all of these things right now because he is no ordinary person in Tihar jail.
He is the Delhi Chief Minister after all, and it is a historic moment that we are talking about today, Shiv. A sitting Chief Minister has been now arrested and he refuses to step down. The Bharatiya Janata Party is pushing for it. The Enforcement Directorate has said nothing officially was signed as a file of a decision from Health Department or Water Department, but Aam Aadmi Party claims he's cleared that. So clearly Arvind Kejriwal is going across as a prisoner to say, I'm reading all these legendary epics, but he's also going to focus on one thing. Shiv, remember, it's not about Arvind Kejriwal's political future only. It's about Aam Aadmi Party's political future. Lok Sabha elections, 7 seats, they would have wanted to win some. Then comes Delhi elections early next year. They would have wanted to already focus on that. And knowing Arvind Kejriwal, he does not have a portfolio of a ministry, but he has the strongest hold. He does not trust a lot of people, and therefore he has a coterie. Most of the coterie and the core team is with him, in fact, in Tihar prison. But most likely the biggest question will be, can he continue to run the government? Because if not, what happens then? Who will he give that responsibility to? Will that individual run it as fine as Arvind Kejriwal will? Because next 6 months will be very crucial. Anyone thinking or asking if Arvind Kejriwal is getting out after 15 days only has to look at Manish Sisodia over a year. Satyendra Jain, beyond a year in different case. Sanjay Singh, over 6 months now. Exactly, in fact, he was arrested in October. So over 6 months for him. Can Arvind Kejriwal get out? Only perhaps as of now, even though ED calls him kingpin, Shiv, he may want to say, I had no business, no authority, no portfolio. How am I involved in the liquor policy scam?
And will that actually mean, a greater amount of trouble for some of the others, including Atishi and Saurabh Bharadwaj? Is that big question. Very interesting perspective there. Satyendra Jain, over a year. Manish Sisodia, over a year. Sanjay Singh, 6 months. 2 weeks for Arvind Kejriwal. But like Preeti was telling us, the Aam Aadmi Party is fully geared and ready for a worst-case scenario where Arvind Kejriwal is perhaps indefinitely behind bars. Let's just tell you who else is locked inside Tihar related to this case. Sanjay Singh is in jail number 5. He's a Aam Aadmi Party member of parliament. Manish Sisodia is in jail number 1. He's been there for longer. He was the deputy chief minister in the Delhi government. Satyendra Jain, also a minister, is lodged in jail number 7. K. Kavita, the daughter of KCR, the former chief minister of Telangana, is jail number 6 of the women's cell. Shreya, quickly pulling you back in, Arvind Kejriwal now becomes the 4th or the 5th prominent person, behind bars inside Tihar in this particular case. As far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, apart from, Atishi and Saurabh, who may be summoned for questioning, etc., what about Arvind Kejriwal vis-a-vis Manish Sisodia, Sanjay Singh and the others? Is there a possibility or a prospect of him being faced with them?
Well, in all probability, Shiv, there is no possibility that they will be coming in face with each other. The reason to make you understand the layout of Tihar jail, there are different jails, and within different jails there are separate barracks. Now, for example, I am right now outside jail number 3. So, Arvind Kejriwal is jail number 2. The likes of Sanjay Singh, then we talk about the like of Manish Sisodia, they are all in jail number 5, 7 and 1. So, they will not be interacting with each other because that possibility we do not see really happening. But clearly, so far as the investigation is concerned, as you rightly mentioned, that he is the 5th person, because not just Sanjay Singh, Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain, we also know that K. Kavita, who was recently arrested in the same matter, BRS leader K. Kavita, she is also lodged inside the same Tihar jail. But they are all in separate jails, so they will not, in all likelihood, be facing each other.
Okay, so they're all going to be in different jails. In fact, in just a few minutes from now, I'm going to give you an overhead view of what the Tihar jail looks like. It's India's largest prison. It's a vast complex, many different jail, complexes inside Tihar, and we'll just show you where each of these persons is currently lodged. So Arvind Kejriwal becomes the 5th person related to this case who's inside Tihar jail. Now, ever since, I'd like to ask all of our reporters to stay with me, but ever since the arrest of Arvind Kejriwal by the Enforcement Directorate, the Delhi Chief Minister and his ministers have maintained that Kejriwal will continue to run the Delhi government. But now the Delhi Chief Minister is lodged in Tihar, like you just saw. This has sparked the burning question: how will he do it? Can he even do it? Is he allowed to do it? Or will there be a shift in governance, as our reporters have been speculating about? Take a look at this report.
The Delhi Chief Minister sent to judicial custody till April 15.
लोगों का एक ही मकसद है, इनको चुनावों में उनको जेल में डालना है। देश की जनता इस तानाशाही का जवाब देगी।
The political row over his arrest in connection with the alleged Delhi liquor scam intensifies.
Can any government run from behind the bars? The whole idea of a government is it has to run according to established norms. I mean, here is a government which has one minister, three ministers already behind bars. So they can have, actually they have a quorum, they can have a cabinet meeting inside bars.
The burning question on everyone's mind: how feasible is it for a chief minister to govern while in jail? Sunil Kumar Gupta, a former superintendent of Tihar prisons in New Delhi, sheds light on the challenges Arvind Kejriwal might encounter in fulfilling his official duties while in custody. The Lieutenant Governor of Delhi is authorized to designate a facility with appropriate amenities as a prison for special cases. However, if this isn't done in Kejriwal's case, the existing restrictions outlined in the jail manual could severely impede the CM's ability to govern from within prison.
CMship चलाना चाहें, वो मेरे हिसाब से मुश्किल होगा, क्योंकि अगर रूल्स आप फॉलो करते हैं तो उस रूल्स में है कि एक प्रिजनर, कोई भी अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर है, वो 2 मुलाकातें कर सकता है अपने घर वालों से, फिर उस कोई भी कागज वो साइन करता है तो वो अंडर द सुपरविजन ऑफ सुपरिटेंडेंट जेल वो साइन करता है.
Moreover, the prison authorities are responsible for scheduling visitor meetings. Inmates are allowed to list 10 individuals they wish to meet during their confinement. Meetings are arranged via phone with only 3 visitors permitted at a time. A mesh separates the inmates from the visitors during meetings. Nevertheless, legal experts argue that an elected chief minister isn't constitutionally barred from carrying out their duties while in jail.
Because a man is in jail, and if there are certain functions which can be done or need his attention, it's always open to the courts to permit it, or even the prison authorities. The Constitution does not have a disqualification.
The decision now rests with the Delhi Lieutenant Governor to relax the restrictions and grant the Chief Minister the necessary facilities to fulfill his official obligations. Bureau Report, India Today.